Older Americans may be resorting to roommates to help survive during this period of high inflation. Today, I watched a video on Yahoo Finance put out by the New York Post titled, "Baby Boomers Are Beating Inflation, Loneliness with Boommates Trend." According to the author, 3 decades after the Golden Girls went off the air, Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, and Sophia's quirky living situation is making a comeback. Baby boomers, roughly ages 57 to 75, are now shacking up with their platonic pals, according to a new Harvard report. The author indicated approximately 913,000 folks over the age of 65 share a home with non-relatives. Here are my thoughts. I think we are going to hear a lot more about this in the future. Some people may just be lonely and want roommates, or as the article calls them, boommates, because we are talking about baby boomers. With that said, I am sure there are a lot of people who do this out of necessity because they can't afford to live on their own. Many people never saved for retirement, and they can't afford to rent an apartment given how much they get from Social Security. There are Americans who don't have adult children to live with or any other family members to live with. In such an instance, they may need to find random people to share a home or apartment with. With how expensive real estate has gotten in recent years, I saw this one coming a mile away. I think this trend will accelerate moving forward, and it probably won't stop with baby boomers. I suspect younger generations will be in the same boat when they reach retirement age, unless they found a way to save for retirement or unless they receive a large inheritance. I suppose there will be others that may have worked for an employer that provided a nice lifetime pension. There are a lot of Americans that don't fit into these boxes. Countless people will have few options other than to share a dwelling with others. Getting back to the video, the author referenced a homeshareonline.com testimonial from a man named Jim who said, "I'm 68 and rent a room in a beautiful home in a walkable area. My housemate Renee and I have developed a wonderful relationship, and we both hope it continues for a long time. I'm as happy as a clam." Here are my thoughts. First, I know nothing about homeshareonline.com. I'm not endorsing them, and I'm also not speaking negatively about the company. I just don't know anything about them. Second, I'm happy Jim had a good experience using this company, and I'm glad he was able to find a housemate in a nice area. I'm happy that it is working out for him. With that said, I don't care how you meet a roommate or housemate or whatever you want to call the person. It may not always be as ideal. For every positive story, I am sure there are nightmare stories as well. When I was in my early 20s and I started buying rental real estate, I not only wanted to cash flow my rental properties, but I also wanted to cash flow my primary residence. I rented out 3 rooms in my house to guys that I knew. I had lived with them in an apartment prior to purchasing my first primary residence, so I knew them. I knew the good things and the bad things about them. I understood their habits, so I didn't go into the situation blind. They all had good jobs, and they all paid me on time, with one exception. One of the guys had a mountain of debt, and his work slowed. He didn't have the ability to make his rent payments for a few months, but he did have great credit at some different stores. We worked out an arrangement where he purchased some items that I needed in lieu of rent. In the end, this all worked out. This won't always be the case if you rent to friends. Sometimes those friendships could get ruined. After the original group of friends started to move on with their lives, they referred some of their friends to me that I didn't know very well. I had a professional relationship with a property management company in town, and I had each one of these new guys sign a lease with the company. They collected the security deposits, they dealt with late fees or non-payment of rent, and I was taken out of the loop. That way, there was less conflict between these guys and me. They knew the property management company would do things by the book, so they weren't going to try to get away with paying late or missing a month. This worked out really well. I generated enough cash flow to cover my mortgage, and I had a little left over each month. We split utilities 4 ways, so the extra cash flow left over each month pretty much covered my share of the utilities. I was basically living in my home for free, and I was cash flowing all of my rental properties at the same time. Of course, I didn't have much privacy, and at times, little things like dishes in the sink from other people really annoyed me. I made sacrifices like this when I was young to secure my financial future later in life. I don't give advice, but I'm going to share my thoughts about this boommates trend. I think people need to be very careful. If it were me, I would think very carefully before doing anything like this. As I've gotten older and wiser, I consider a lot of risks that I didn't always think about when I was younger. I'm afraid some people could get themselves into a really bad situation if they aren't careful. Unfortunately, some Americans may have no choice because of their limited financial means. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. It may not just be baby boomers who need roommates. I read a story today on Yahoo Finance put out by Business Insider and written by Jacob Zinkula, titled, "A single mom who made $55,000 last year working 3 jobs said she's struggling to pay the bills but doesn't qualify for SNAP or affordable health insurance." The author of this article referenced a single mom in Massachusetts who made about $55,000 last year across 1 full-time job and 2 part-time jobs. She said it wasn't nearly enough. The author referred to her as an ALICE, which stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. There are people who are unable to afford the basics of housing, childcare, food, transportation, healthcare, and technology. In the case of the woman in this story, she doesn't qualify for many government benefits programs. Here are my thoughts. First, my heart goes out to this woman and her 2 children. I admire her for working 3 jobs. That can't be easy, and she is doing that to sustain herself and her kids. You have to respect that. Second, this is the grim reality here in America for countless people. Many people who live in expensive areas of the country are not earning enough to survive. If they lived somewhere else in America and had the same income, they might be in a better situation. Housing has become astronomical in some areas, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Now, I'm sure some people might suggest someone like this move to a less expensive area of the country. This might not be possible for everyone. Some single moms may be constrained by a divorce decree that may limit where they can live. Some may have family members nearby that they don't want to leave. Others may have a career that they are trying to pursue locally. Some niche careers require you to live in certain areas. There are a lot of reasons why someone may not be able to move to a less expensive area. I worry that we are going to read more about people who are working multiple jobs here in America and still struggling to survive. This really could become a big problem in our country. Some companies have focused on increasing profitability and have literally squeezed the employees as much as they can in the process. Do you know of companies that have done this? Or do you know people who are working multiple jobs and still struggling financially? If so, tell me about it in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.